Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer, and right over there is John. He's our resident millennial. John, how are you doing this evening?
Not too bad, but not nearly as well as you, Robert, who I hear is doing exceptionally well at the moment.
I have had a great couple of days. I really have.
Hell yeah.
My wife and I went stomping around on our new property the last couple of days, getting to know the lay of the land, seeing what's going to. Oh shit! There's work ahead. There's real work ahead uh, on this property. I posted a picture in Discord of the. We went around today posting no trespassing signs.
Posting the I can legally shoot you
Right,
signs.
right. The your second warning is going to be projected by gunpowder, right?
Right.
it's
Exactly.
hey, you had your fair warning. There it
Yeah.
is. It's in a
Yeah.
sign. No trespassing. Posted. Stay the fuck off.
It's
But
great.
that was nice. I was like, it was really satisfying knowing I'm putting up signs right now telling people to stay the fuck off my land. This is my.
It's right.
Don't,
You're literally
don't.
saying, get off my lawn.
Right, get off my fucking lawn. Don't even step on my lawn.
Right. Don't
Uh,
even look at my lawn. All
right,
right.
right. All right, you know what? You're driving by. You can look. It's okay. We're on a state road. You're going to be tempted to look over, right? But get this: you will
As
not
long as you're
see our
moving.
house. You won't see our house. You may see a driveway, but you're going to see nothing but trees blocking any
Hell yeah.
view of our house. Um, yeah, because we're going to leave a hedgerow of trees up in the front along
Yeah,
the
dude.
highway.
I can't wait to see the place, man.
Oh,
It's gonna be awesome.
well, let me tell you. Let me tell you, real quick. I see Elephant Man in the house tonight. Good to see you, Elephant Man. Please make sure and hit that like button while you're sitting around. Anybody else is out there lurking, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you're not busy and you feel like helping us out, look down there. There's a link to buy me a coffee where you
Oh
can go and
yeah.
help support John and I. And remember, once we reach our first $100 for buy me a coffee, John is going to do one of his famous drunk streams, which is really basically every stream. We just
But
don't,
I'll be having games instead.
right? A drunk gaming stream.
Yes.
Being a high functioning alcoholic, he's typically in the sauce most episodes anyway. But that I don't know if that's true. I heard it from a friend. But anyway,
I mean, probably more often than not, but I also don't usually get drunk during the stream.
not
You
often.
know, there's nothing wrong with having a drink or two. You know.
No, no, no. I
Yeah.
don't understand it myself. I don't really. I mean, I like me. I'm like once a month, maybe a couple of casual drinks at dinner with my wife
Yeah.
or whatever, or we might sit around on a particularly hot day of being out in the yard gardening and stuff and have a couple of
Oh, there's something
beers.
better than that.
But that's
Yeah.
but that's few and far between, because I've just never really been able to wrap my head around it. The idea of just sitting around drinking casually,
Yeah.
most nights of the week, whatever. And I mean, it's not, that doesn't make you an alcoholic, but well,
I've actually cut
consider the
back quite a bit.
options, right?
I've actually cut like quite a bit in the past like year or so.
I see Quest Fanning in the house. Good to see you this evening, Quest. Thanks for stopping by. But anyway, so now I have to tell you, we've talked about land in Florida, right? And we know,
Hmm.
the property that we got has got, around 3 acres of wetlands, that intrude on our property, which we're okay with. We're gonna, we're gonna oversee this wetland area that's on our property, right? Well, we pull up
Oh.
yesterday on the. We pull up yesterday near the property because we're gonna, we gotta park on the side road and then we gotta walk around and get to the front of the property and everything. And there's a woman on her porch on the corner of that street. There's a house there. She's got about 5 acres, and she starts hollering at us. And first thing she noticed, we brought Pinnell, our dog, with us up
Mm.
there to go check out the land with us, and she's telling us, you're not just going to let your dog out, are you? Because I got two pit bulls here, which they weren't actually pit bulls; they look like boxers, But anyway, we were like, no, 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 no. We got her on a leash. She's well trained. She's going with us. We're going to check out our property. And she says, how are you getting over there? And I said, well, we're probably going to walk up around the front. And she said, all right. She says, don't cut across that land. She said, there's gators in there.
Oh God.
And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What? She said, there's gators in there. They come walking around. She said, there's a big one, a big, almost white one. Well, comes walking around, and we see him on the road sometimes, this, that, and the other thing. Big mama gator, apparently, is what it is.
I wonder if she's just like full of shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like she's just saying that to just to, to kind of like a little hazing, to welcome you to the neighborhood or whatever.
I would no, sir, because, and I'll tell you why.
Don't you point that toward me?
I'll tell you why I believe her. Okay, and I don't. This is. I'm just using these as descriptors for the scenario. She was an older black woman, and she was very much speaking from a place of fear. She was definitely warning us that there were alligators in the immediate vicinity.
Oh my God.
So fortunately, I had the foresight to tell Teresa, get the 9mm. We're taking that with us if we're going to walk the property. You never know, you're going to run into snakes or whatever you might run into, right?
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, it's a good thing we did that. Loaded up the 9mm. I strapped that on my side. We got the dog, machete, everything. We went walking. So now, there was a little bit of confusion on the two different things that show our property lines. So we were a little bit over, a little off of our property line when we went walking in, and there's some wetland, area, waterways right there in the next door neighbor's unsold property. It's just 10 acres there that we've talked about wanting to buy before, right? Mm-hmm. Well, get walking down there, and there's this big, overgrown, swampy pond. And sure enough, as I come up over the little ridge embankment of it, scattering throughout the water are about 4 different sized gators. And you can see them.
Wow.
They collected in a point. You could just see their back ridges and everything sitting up out of the water, etc. Young gators. And so apparently what happens is this big gator, there's a swamp on the other side of the state highway, right? But there's a culvert that runs under the state road, all 4 lanes and a median, and comes through. So what's happening is she lives over in the big swamp, but she comes under that culvert and comes over into these small areas and spawns.
Yeah.
And apparently they've had wildlife out there, and she's not an aggressive gator because they were able to get up close to her and touch her, whatever. It's like, okay, so she's well fed, she's finding food, so she's not aggressive. But so, probably about 50 to 100 feet from our property is, to the side is this this little gator pond. However, here's the beauty of it. Up where we're going to be, there's a rule of thumb, and you can call wildlife, and they'll tell you, because our friend who lives up there told us. Fox, coyote, deer, gator, if it's on your land, it's probably a pest. Terminate. You've got unless it's an endangered animal, which none of these things are in the area, you feel free to terminate. So there's a good chance I'll be selling some gator skin boots and belts before long.
I want some. What the fuck?
Right?
I want some gator skin shit. Oh my God.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
But sure enough, there are gators around there. But so today we actually got on our property proper, right? When we posted and we found out where the lot lines were specifically. Boy, howdy, John! I've never seen so many deer track in my life.
Yeah?
They've got.
Are we gonna have venison soon?
Oh, they got paths all through the property. Well, it's not gonna be till sometime in between now and August, that we get moved out there, settled in on it. But apparently ton of deer, and the way the wetlands area is set up, I'm gonna be able to build us a lookout post. Set it up about 10 feet to where we can climb up and we can sit down, have morning coffee. and watch stuff happening out on the wetland and watch for deer to cross that boundary.
Take shots at him. Yeah.
Cross on over out of the wetlands. Come on.
That's right.
Just come on.
That's right.
Let's
Make
see, we
my
got a
day.
few more folks showing up. I see Ed in the house as well. Okay, he's the only other few. Ed was first. No, Quest does not agree. Is Robert
I
wearing
don't agree
tactical
either.
goggles? Yes, these are my new readers. They suffice for both. I can wear these. I can wear these for shooting, or I can wear these for my computer work. But I opted to go ahead and start wearing these as my reading glasses because, in case I need to have, I'll always have these on. And if I'm in a situation where I need to pull out a gun and shoot something on the property that's, shouldn't be there while I'm out working, these will be handy. But yeah, it's good looking out. Good seeing.
Yeah, dude, you gotta get me some venison.
Gator
my
does
God.
taste good, Quest, if it's cooked
Yeah, it
properly. It's to be honest with you,
Gator
depending
jerky
on
is pretty good.
depending on how gamey it is, it pretty much tastes like chicken, leaning towards a gamey chicken, but a little more chewy.
Like, yeah, okay, yeah. You're right.
I know I'm right. I've eaten it.
No, it's hard to describe taste sometimes.
Well, that's
But yeah, that's pretty accurate.
that
Yeah.
comes right down to it, right? And
Yeah.
and the reason why it tastes like chicken is because it's usually being cooked up like chicken, popcorn chicken. With little nuggets of gator tail. You're not eating it like in a fillet or slices
yeah.
or stuff.
Yeah,
You're getting
yeah.
it cooked up like popcorn chicken or catfish, but it's got the breading, and therefore it makes you think. It leans you towards the flavor of chicken. Elephant Man says, bad choice on the glass, but I don't have to wear them. Yeah, it's true. But these aren't, I don't have to wear these 24/7. It's only whenever I'm having to look at stuff close up. But man, I tell you, these are better than my prescription glasses. Like
Yeah.
it turns my screen into a high def screen on my computer versus my prescription glasses, which cost me damn near $200. These cost me $15 fucking dollars at the gun show.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And they do a better job than my readers.
Hell yeah.
Just saying. So, I know they're a little bit bulky and big, but I don't give a fuck. You know what? If it makes me look like a boomer, whatever. But guess what?
Yeah.
I can sight that goddamn gun you're bitching about.
Right. That's right, man. That's right.
Quest
Fuck
says,
'em.
that sounds like walking down my block here in Brooklyn in the 1980s. Guys with machetes and guns everywhere, right? What was that?
No
What was
shit.
that movie called? The Warriors. If you ever get a chance, John, watch The Warriors.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's about a street gang, and I want to say it was New York, street gangs in New York.
Probably.
Yeah, back in the late 70s, early 80s. Ed says, now are you way out of Orlando, or are you like over by where we stayed when we were down there? No, I'm
He's
about
way out.
I'm about 15 minutes to the east of Gainesville, so about an hour and a half from here. Teresa showed me that she can do the drive in an hour and a half. She cooked 85 miles an hour all the way home tonight. She didn't want to stop, nothing. She just wanted to get home, because she didn't like driving at night. Man, whew, she could play in NASCAR. I'm just saying. It was a more colorful time back in the 80s. Yes, it was, sir. It was. It says, Quest says, I remember the peep shows till Giuliani Disney Times Square, right? The peep shows, right? Whatever happened to Little Amsterdam in New York? This talk's
Giuliani, I guess.
Robert sounds like a Paleo Libertarian.
He's trying.
What would a Paleo Libertarian be?
Basically like a primitivist, like someone who's
Oh,
not...
now see, I'm not so much primitivism, because I'm going to have,
I don't think it's necessarily like being, obviously you're
Oh.
using modern tools and stuff, but I mean like you're eating meat that you're killing.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's...
Like, and you're eating meat or vegetables that you're growing, like yourself. You know what I mean? Being self-sufficient. And,
Yeah, that's just tapping back into my heritage. That's how I grew up.
Right.
That's what you did growing up. You were self-sufficient. You didn't need to rely on nobody for nothing. I mean, we didn't have cows, so we wound up buying milk. But,
Sure.
old Sam Ballard always worked
There's
deals
a-
out with us for a side of beef.
Was the milkman still around, or like
Oh, no, no, no. We
what's
just
the
went
deal
to the
with that?
grocery store. There was no milkman. We
Okay,
were rural.
I
You
don't
don't
know.
have, we didn't
I
have
don't know.
milkman in a rural area.
Okay, fair enough.
Elephant says gator is grainy. It can be if improperly cooked. That is typically going to be improperly cooked gator because gator
Hmm.
should be more chewy and
Yeah,
consistency of chicken
it's
without that
super chewy.
graininess. Now it could be the age of the gator also contributes to that, but it should be a nice mellow chewable meat though a little chewier than chicken,
Hmm.
like a pear to an apple. mm. I could see that happening, but Quest needs a snack. See, he loved the Warriors. It ends with a rumble in Coney Island. You should check out the movie. It's pretty cool. But his gang's using
Oh,
chains and shit. It wasn't all about guns. It was them
yeah, yeah,
using
yeah.
chains and clubs and
I
baseball
know.
bats and stuff.
Oh
It
my
was like,
god.
right before, and it was
Rumble,
nice,
rumble,
right?
Johnny Stop the Soch. Yeah, and fucking that
It
excited
wasn't
shit.
super cheesy like that. No, it was more of a hardcore like you know testing the boundaries of the time for television and movies.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. It's got a cult following. It's really awesome. But anyway,
Yep.
so that was my adventures for the last couple of days doing all that, and now today was the last day of the inspection period. The last bring any renegotiations for repairs or anything like that. Nothing. They haven't come to us with anything. Now we're just sitting around waiting for this goddamn appraisal. God, bureaucracy can take a while sometimes. Apparently, waiting on this appraisal
Yeah.
so we know what they can get financed. We'll be done. 3 weeks. We're looking at 3 weeks. I'm out of this place. 3 weeks. April 15th.
Badass, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not April 15th. Excuse me. June 15th. Out of
June
here.
15th, yeah.
And then 2 months after that, looking at 2 months after that, be walking into our new home.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's got to be nice, man. That's
Oh, it's gonna
awesome.
be sweet, man. I've
Hell
already
yeah.
I've already seen where I'm gonna put the crops and and where I'm gonna be growing stuff and what we're gonna do. And I'm like, all right,
Hell yeah.
I already have my footage figured out for how much fence I'm gonna need, how quickly I can get that laid in. Oh, it's gonna be madness. It's gonna be madness. I can't wait. But anyway, I highly recommend it. Again, I highly recommend it. Get your asses on your own property. Have fun working the land and making it
Hmm.
your own and doing all that. It's really, I don't know. There's it can't be beat.
Yeah,
But anyway, so
I agree.
now, now for those of you who don't want to take the self-sufficient route, there are alternatives. John, I don't know if you've been keeping up with anything, the talk, the banter, the chatter up in
Uh huh.
Washington,
A little bit.
but they are still and increasing the conversation about ongoing stimulus payments. And what they're looking to do now is potentially tie it to the unemployment rate. So if and this will and almost making this like a in perpetuity thing, right? So
Hmm.
this will be a switch that hits. So if unemployment is below a certain level, automatic payments to people will start going out. Stimulus payments. When unemployment, you know, drops down below that point to where we're doing better, then the switch gets cut off. But potentially, if it were to unemployment rises again and hits the switch, then automatically money starts going out to people again. To where they don't have to do a stimulus plan anymore. They don't have to do a big budget package. This will just be an ongoing switch in our economy to where this happens. How do you like that?
Well, obviously I don't. So,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Now, now I'm going to ask you this, okay? And we're going to preface this on the fact that the will of the people is supposed to be one of the drivers for this country, right? That's what we want. The people
Yeah.
have a say.
It's the
Um,
idea.
so as it stands, over 2 million Americans have signed a petition petitioning the federal government to start doling out $2,000 a month stimulus checks. Now,
Yeah.
where, from your standpoint as a libertarian,
Mm-hmm.
what is your take on a large group of Americans coming, putting a petition, basically getting enough people behind it to where this petition has to be looked at and talked about
Mm-hmm.
and decided on?
Well, I don't believe in like the will of the people or democracy or anything like that. So obviously, no, it doesn't really do anything for me.
But isn't that one of the things that this is all founded on, is that the people have a say, the people are supposed to be represented, right? It's
Right, represented. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
voice of the people matters, right?
Well,
When it comes to our votes and it comes to all of these things, that's
well, that's
supposed
the
to be
problem,
right.
isn't it? Though, I mean, that's the problem, though, is they're spending all this time convincing people that they want this money, as if it's not going to come with no strings, right? As if it comes with no strings attached. They're convincing people that they want that, and once these people are convinced, then they're telling them that they want that, and they're like, okay, now we can, give this to you. It's not like it's a grassroots thing. It's actually something that we talked about. I was on Steven's show last night, and we talked about that, about how this is not like a grassroots
This is more a
thing. This
concerted effort by.
by those with power and money. So I'm sure that a lot of people do want this. I'm just saying that it's still a bad idea. You're still going to have huge amounts of inflation. You're going to have huge amounts of people just not bothering to work. We're seeing that now. Like anyone who said before that, oh no, people would still want to work, haven't been looking around right
Well,
now, right this minute.
well, and now I will. I The only thing I will say about that before you continue is that what they did with unemployment was a little drastic, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? Because I would almost say that they let that carry on too long in
Hmm.
most cases, and it was too much, right? I mean, you're talking people were getting, an a like at first, you remember it was like $600 extra that
Six
people were
hundred
getting
extra
a week,
dollars a week.
right?
Yeah,
And I
that's a
mean,
lot.
or they were or totaling up to 600, but I mean, that was insane. It's like, okay, you know, you're paying more than, okay, so unemployment is supposed to be X amount of dollars, like some percent, like here it's 275 a week, but when it becomes 600, you're paying more than the job they went on unemployment was giving them, right?
Right, and the worst thing is when people are like, oh, you if you can't afford to pay more than the unemployment, then you don't deserve to be in business. Well, it's like that's not a fair comparison because the government gets to make
Right,
up money, the business does not.
right.
Businesses get to say, boom, I have all this money. The
So
government gets to do that. They literally get to snap their fingers and create money out of thin air.
now if
We
they
cannot do that.
right
Like it doesn't make any fucking sense.
and right, and it had a negative. It kind of, in some ways, it had a negative repercussion, but in some ways, it had a positive repercussion. Like I've said before, a lot of people realized just how much money they weren't making from a regular job, from their lower paying job, right? Because now they're suddenly faced
Mhm.
with unemployment checks that are giving them enough money to live on. And then on
Oh
top of
yeah,
that, you're throwing out stimulus money three different
yeah,
times, right?
yeah.
And that to me is a little bit different than saying, just doing a UBI of say $1,000 a month, per person, right? Whatever. That is a different incentivizer to not work than just a payment, uh, you know, in a UBI form. I should say. Would you not
Hmm.
agree there?
Well,
I
that
mean,
is what it seems to be becoming. Seems that that's kind of what they're putting out under a different name.
right. And most people's unemployment is going to start going away. Like a lot of states are getting on
Yeah.
board with, okay, you got to be finding a job. These benefits are going to start rolling back, et cetera, et cetera. So that dynamic is going to turn, because I do think that that was more of an isolated reasoning for not going back to work versus the impact of just a UBI type payment coming every month. Not completely different. I mean, yes, there's still maybe the same impact. Okay, you know, I don't think your UBI should be enough to pay people's bills, right? Like to pay everything to where they don't have an incentive to go work,
Right.
right?
But even $2,000 a month, which I know for most people is not a lot, but I've lived off of way less than that.
Right.
Like I
Well,
could easily, conceivably,
well,
you
for
know,
between
live off of that
right
easily, like
for two
very, very
thousand
easily.
dollars a person for a family of four, two parents, that's $4,000, right?
A
That
month,
is an
yeah.
income. That is a one income, and it goes
That is
back to
a
what
good
I've said
income,
about the
yeah.
UBI before.
Hmm.
While I understand the difficulties in paying for it, it is an idea that could get us back to a more nuclear family model, where
Hmm.
we have kids finally being raised at home again
I agree.
versus
I agree that it
daycare.
would encourage that. I agree that it would encourage that if just for the extra money.
Right.
Um,
But for
then
the
we have to deal with.
but you got to pay for it, right? And that's insane.
Well, yeah, you got to pay for it. So you're taxing everybody. I don't want to hear this nonsense of no, we're just going to tax the rich because that's obviously ridiculous. That never happens. Anytime they say we're just going to tax the rich, don't worry. That never works out that way. Um, but also like, okay, so first of all, obviously taxation, theft, bullshit anyway. But even if we do agree that it's fine, it still doesn't work because that taxing everybody. And then of course nobody's gonna, no, not nobody's going to work. People will still work, but a large percentage of people won't. And you're going to see all those little businesses that can't. Like even your McDonald's and Burger Kings, your bookstores, whatever chain retail stores, those are going to be gone because they're not going to be able to find workers.
Right.
Because why would I work there? Why would I work at I don't know, Barnes and Noble or something when for whatever $10, $12, $11 an hour, when I can just sit at home and make 2 grand a month, in my boxers playing video games.
Let me ask you this, Joe.
Like,
Let me ask you this. What now?
yeah.
Would you be more inclined to a UBI situation if, for instance, it required that you worked at least part time, between either part time or full time, and made X amount of dollars, and then the only UBI you would get is to supplement you up to a certain dollar amount a month, right? So if they were trying to reach you to a cap of, say $2,000 a month, and
Hmm.
so it would that $2,000 a month would be broken down on a percentage of how much you actually worked, right? The more you work, the
Right.
closer you get to that upper tier UBI, versus, if you're not working, then you're going to get the minimum UBI, which might be, I don't know, $500 a month, which is not livable, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Force people to be in a position to go get a job. The only way you're going to maximize your UBI is to get a job, and work X number of hours to
I
reach
mean,
that potential. So that way,
yeah.
if you're in a low paying job, then that extra $2,000 max UBI for working full time comes in
Right.
and brings you to a livable point.
So that is certainly better, I think. Not that I think it's good, but it's certainly better. It's certainly a better way of incentivizing people to work. Although Ed does make a good point that if you put stipulations on it, you lose the U in UBI, as in the
Universal, right?
universal. Yeah.
Right. So I was going to jump over into the chat real quick. It says, "How
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
people get their regular unemployment when they're unemployed?" Yeah, that understandable.
Well, hang on. You
Uh,
skipped through a bunch
that's
of. You
n-
skipped over a
that was
bunch of.
well. They're just talking about
Talking
swords and
about how great I
katanas.
am, and
What? Where
you're.
did they say you're great?
Ha. Let's see. Oh my God! Look at
No,
this. Yeah.
no, no. They're
John, there might be an upside
Right.
to a
That's
switch
where I'm
instead of
starting. I'm
passing.
reading
Like,
the one right before that.
no,
I
you
just
weren't.
started.
Oh, okay, I got you. I thought you were reading. There's
Oh,
another one that says the
John.
same thing down here. Just saying, there's another one that says the same thing. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it? Yeah, Elvin says, John, there might be an upside to a switch instead of passing large packages. Right.
I think it's yeah. I think that again. I think that's better. I just don't think that it's a
Right.
great solution,
And
but
and
it's
and
definitely better.
and they're talking. There was something else they consider talking. Is setting something else as a switch, but unemployment seems to be the right switch to hit for that. Right. Quest says we've gone over the edge. Alexis Day talk of I know who that is. I warned it would be the end of America if the politicians could bribe the people with their own money. Alexis Day Tocqueville. Do you know who that is?
It sounds very familiar. The last name does.
Um, so yeah, and that's but see that's the thing. The way that it's going to be spun is that they're pulling the money from the elite, the rich, right? Because
But they're
that's what
not
all
though.
I get you, but that's what
Yeah.
all the talk is right now, right? Finding ways to tax the rich and get more of that money.
Redistribution of wealth.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They don't call it that either anymore, but
Right.
that's exactly what it is redistribution of wealth.
He says representative government isn't an end in itself. The point of representative government is to push back against unfettered tyranny. It should facilitate individual liberty.
Right.
Sure.
But instead it just facilitates tyranny. That's all
Right.
it does.
Um,
Yeah.
Elephant Man says if there was an automatic direct payment to the public, maybe they won't give billions to foreign governments. See, that's the problem, right? Like
Yeah,
there
will
is
though.
there is that. I mean, they will. That's the problem. Is
Yeah.
we've got to stop foreign spending, right?
Yeah.
I understand. I understand foreign spending when it comes to trade, right? That's one thing. But giving people just handing out money constantly in aid and this and that, why? Why?
Yeah.
I can promise you this. America will never be able to buy themselves into the good graces of any country,
No, we bomb them too much.
right? I mean, look, we're America. And no matter how anybody wants to look at it, I understand that we are a great and powerful nation, but I'm not going to lie to you. I still believe much of the rest of the world sees us as assholes
Yeah,
or
of course.
backwards, right?
Well, they
It's
should.
like, why are
well,
you
not
so
the backwards, but
Well, there is
right.
when you think about like from economics, like for instance, just silly things like waiters in restaurants there don't make tips because they get paid a full wage each hour versus the silliness we do with gratuity here, right? Just little
Yeah.
things like that, economically speaking, that they think is odd. Paying for health care, right? They're like, why are you guys so wrapped up on money that people can't
Why
just
is
get
their money
well?
not worth anything though?
Sure, right, right. It
Right.
is, but why is
Yeah.
our money not worth anything?
I mean, it's not
Right?
worth more
I
than their
mean,
money. Right.
we're
I mean, relative
it's
though, our money is worth a lot more.
right. It's very
Yeah.
interesting to try and stand up and look like a world power, and then deep down inside, your dollar's worth like a quarter. Right? It's it's just a good makeup job. We got a good makeup job. Quest says the 600 extra was as if you had a 50K plus salary after you factor in the existing 40%. Yes, it was insane. Great point, John. Business can't make money out of thin air. No, but our federal
See?
government can.
Right. That was the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I told you they were talking about how great I am.
Whatever.
Good point, Quest.
It has to be significantly less than their old job. People will take a little pay cut if it means they don't have to do shit. Right.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. They
And
will.
see, that's
Yeah.
why I say it should be factored in on the amount of work you do. So if you've got a part-time job, you get a partial UBI, right? And that will incentivize you to go work harder. If and get rid of the minimum wage, then let companies start paying what they feel if they find feasible, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, find a balance there, because I think right now companies are about to show us that we can get rid of federal and state minimum wage requirements. Yeah, I'm trying to have a positive feel that that's going to happen, that they're going to show the shift as possible.
I don't know.
Now, will it happen? I don't know, doubt it. this whole thing, as Quest says, this whole thing has proven the concern case against UBI. It proves that people won't bother working if they get a UBI. I still don't agree with that. I think that this unemployment thing was an extraneous situation that is not easily comparable to a UBI. Because a UBI should not would normally not be expected to replace a job, which this unemployment situation actually, I mean, it literally did replace jobs for people, and it wasn't a smart move overall. From Knocked Up, I'm not saying I'm poor, but I eat a lot of spaghetti. All right. Elfman says we'll be taxed through inflation. Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything's going to be, the cost of everything's going up right now, and yes, it is consistently more taxing on our income to pay those prices. Not to mention the fact that taxes get taken out on that at state levels for everything you buy as well. Everybody's getting a piece of the pie, and the more money it costs, the bigger that little chunk of pie gets. Quest, how about the money that would have gone to schools goes with the kid, including the homeschooling we're doing? Right? Yeah, and see now, Quest, you'll start seeing that come July. You're going to start seeing $250 or $300 per kid you have every month for the last 6 months of the year. But it looks like they're going to do that in perpetuity, or for up to 4 years, possibly longer, if it winds up being carried over into a more permanent situation. But yeah, every parent now, any kid under 6, they're going to get a $300 check. Every kid over 6 to 17 is going to get $250 a month dropped into your paycheck for the next 6 months, or I mean into your bank account for the next 6 months.
That's crazy.
When I hear those who chose not to work, I'm a very nice guy. But when I hear that, I want to kick the shit out of the speaker. Yeah, man, I saw who was it? McLean's Trucking. As we were driving down the interstate, I saw on their reader board, they had a digital reader board, and it was saying they're paying $1,000 signing bonus for new truck drivers, and they're paying $500 signing bonus for warehouse workers.
Where was this?
McLean's. It was on 75, between here and Gainesville.
Okay, yeah.
It's as if,
There was a strip club somewhere. Someone put a picture on Twitter. The strip club somewhere. It was like Perfect Tens is what it was called. And underneath on the reader board, it said "Now hiring 8s." I thought that was pretty funny.
That's awesome. There's what you said earlier. If you put stipulations on it, you lose the U in UBI. Yeah. Understandable, but come on, they can play with words. They can make it work. Elfman says you might see Main Street stores open up if you have a guaranteed income and a passion for, say, books or model trains, right?
That's true.
Hardware, you don't need to make a profit. Well, yeah, folks might want to make a profit. It's kind of the only way to stay in business, though. But, without employees, it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah. Unless
you can excellently pivot to a digital landscape and get those .com sales. That's what you got to do.
Well, if you want you and your wife to work for the rest of your lives and not take vacations and not grow your business, just kind of stay the same. Which, I mean, hey, you don't have to be ambitious and try to be like the next Starbucks or something.
Well, it would. We talked about this on the last show. It would be really nice if companies, if somebody could start a business and be able to pay that high level wage right out the door. But most people getting into business aren't sitting around on a huge nest egg of cash to do it with.
Right, and they're not paying themselves most of the time.
Right,
they're not paying themselves. For at least the first 5 years, you're not supposed to give yourself a salary.
Well, and it's funny. I watch Shark Tank. I love watching Shark Tank. Right, these entrepreneurs that get on here with these new things. Yeah. But one of the questions they'll ask a lot is, how much do you pay yourself? These, you've been running the business for 3 years. And they look at the sales numbers that they've had. Trying to launch it. Well, how much have you been paying yourself? And you'll hear it a lot. No, I haven't been taking a salary yet. I've been reinvesting it. I haven't been taking a salary yet, reinvesting it. and
That's
and that's
smart. That's very smart.
how it goes a lot of time. Well, now actually, Shark Tank says that's not necessarily good. You should be paying yourself some money as well. You should find a way to pay yourself some salary, to because that's a sign of a healthy business. Even if
Yeah, but if
you
you're
have to
first starting
sacrifice.
out, though,
Even
if you're first
if,
starting out,
even
you're not
that,
supposed to.
even that, when you're talking about going and looking for investors, that's a sign of a
Mm.
healthy business. So
So
you
that's different. Then,
sacrifice a
yeah, when you're
little of the
looking for investors,
reinvestment of property profits and turn it into a salary for yourself. Then you give the appearance of a more healthy business that somebody wants to invest in.
yeah. So sure, maybe yeah, if you're looking for investors, but that's not
Right,
what. Yeah,
right. But
okay.
that in the real world, with people who aren't sitting there able to go on Shark Tank, they're just opening up a restaurant. It's not like it's
Right,
some brand new invention, right? Yeah,
right,
they're
exactly. Yeah,
not.
yeah.
They're
They're not pulling a
reinvesting their
salary.
time. They're bringing their kids to work and having them
Oh
actually
yeah,
work because you can use your kids as
you can
slave
do that.
labor in most
Yeah,
states.
yeah, yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
Elephant Quest says, "True, Ed. That was my first thought. It's starting to sound more like the way public housing works." You, oh, did I pronounce America wrong? Quest says, "How do we give foreign aid to India? They have fucking space program, right? Why? Why do we need to give them any money?"
They
But
need more bathrooms, man.
here's the real question: there are other countries that we're giving money to. Like, yeah, it may not get a lot of talk, because of course you want to keep some things quiet, but I don't doubt for a minute that we give money to China. We give money to countries like Russia, you know, things like this, and it's like, yeah, we had to just stop giving people money. Stop giving people money.
Yeah.
Elfman says doing away with tips is anti-libertarian. Is
I
that
mean,
true,
well,
John?
yeah, well, by force, yeah,
Look,
by
I,
not to be able to work for tips, and yeah,
you know what? It, the the only thing I'll ever say about the tip system that we have in this country, um, it's not 100%, right? It's a it's not guaranteed money, right?
well, of course not. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't forecast any tips, and you got to hope that I put on a show when I was a waiter, right?
hmm
I would work for those tips, and but there's no guarantee how much money you're going to make, right?
yeah,
It could just
of
be a
course,
really
yeah, yeah,
shitty night, and people aren't tipping well, whatever the case may
yeah,
be.
hmm
Inflation's going up. People are holding on to money. So I mean, it's like it's hand to mouth sometimes, and then other times
hmm They're
it
killing
truly
it.
is feast or famine in the tipping
Yeah,
industry. Because while some people like Elephant Man may be the type of person that tips everybody that would normally get a tip. Not everybody's doing that. You know, there's not a lot of people like me that walk into a restaurant starting at 20% tip, and you can go
yeah,
up or down from there because I was in the service industry and that's my standard, right? And
right.
you can expect to get 20% from me, but if you fuck up, then you're going to start losing percentages. I'm sorry, it's just the
Right.
way it is.
You go down to
I'm
18%.
paying
Yeah.
for service with that tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you go above and beyond, I've gone as high as hitting that 30 to 50% mark. I
You
mean,
know
I've
what feels really powerful when you sit, as soon as you sit down, the waiter comes over, you hand him a 20, and you say, "This is just so that there's no misunderstandings." You know, assume everything is fine. Assume I want that refill. Don't bother us otherwise. Like, I haven't done that myself, but I was with someone who did that once, and it was fucking insane. I was
now
just, I was blown away.
I'll tell you, I don't tell my servers that whenever I go into a restaurant. But now
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have seen people that do that dick move where they'll put a pile of money,
yeah.
put a little stack of money on the table, and they'll be like, "This is your tip. So what you do tonight, and they'll be dick and they'll take some of it away sometime, whatever.
Right.
It's like, come on. Do you know
No,
how
I wasn't talking
demeaning
about
that
that.
is?
I
Right.
was
No,
talking
no,
about
I get
handing
you.
a 20 directly to him.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Well, now
yeah.
I will say that the one time that I have made it very clear to them that their tip is gonna rely on their service. Is if I ever go somewhere and sit down to eat all I can eat ribs,
Mhm.
because I'll tell them straight up, don't ask me if I want more.
Right.
Assume I want more brought to my
Right.
table, and I will I will tell you when to stop.
Right. Yeah,
If you ask me if I need some more
yeah.
ribs, then we start to have a problem.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be bothered by your questions. I want the ribs to just keep coming. I don't want
Right.
gaps. When I put down a bone, I want another bone to be able to pick up. That's all
Right.
I'm asking. I don't need your side dishes because I don't. I don't need anything. I just eat those fucking ribs.
Oh my God! You get the meat sweats. That's not a
Oh
fun
no
time.
no
Nobody
no no
likes
no
that.
no no no
Nobody
no
likes
no.
that.
Because when
Meat
I'm
sweats and then the meat shits later on. Oh my
no
God,
no no
dude!
no no
What?
no no
You
no no
got no.
no.
You gotta have something else in there to kind
Mm,
of
mm, mm, mm.
even that out, settle
No
it down. Like,
no
oh my God, dude,
no no no
it's
no. I do
ridiculous.
I do put something. I put Coke in there. Drink Coke with it
Uh,
because that
that's not
carbonation keeps
good.
it all stirred up, and I'm belching and everything. It mixes it up in my stomach.
All right.
You know, it's I've never had an issue with it. Never. But I do have issues with servers who just don't fucking listen. Just don't fucking listen, right? It's like, oh, so you about ready for? I was ready for some more ribs before you ever came over here and fucking asked me. Right?
Yeah.
I looked at one time. I said, "Did I tell you not to bring any more?" No. Well, then why aren't you bringing more? I mean, god damn it. They said that's the one time I just get kind of pissy because it's just like, look, you know.
Quest is right. There's been a lot of food talk tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm hungry. We
Like,
didn't stop to eat on the
shit,
way
man.
back, so I'm like, I could eat,
Oh
I could
yeah.
eat,
So you're
I could eat. Uh, Quest, let's see, did I business improvements? They've got a program in New York City that actually makes sense. A public-private program called Ready, Willing, Able. Folks with no marketable skills just going around cleaning the streets in a given business improvement district. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah.
uh,
Don't we call that work release? Otherwise, is that?
well, those are usually, I mean, I guess technically voluntary, although they're usually in prison. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Elvin says, yeah, John, that's the way it used to be. You work all year, 6 days a week, 12, 16 hours a
Oh,
day
yeah.
until you die. Uh, Quest says Shark Tank. Now I'm hungry again.
Yeah, he's.
He says, if you're working for tips, the men should have a higher base salary. Highest tips are men tipping women, followed
Yeah,
by men, followed by men, and women tipping women are the cheapest. Now, I'll tell you
that
something.
makes sense.
That is absolutely true. But I tell you, I used to work my ass off, and my best tips always came from women because boy howdy,
Boy, howdy.
most women that I
Did you
waited
say boy
on,
howdy to them?
right? Most women
Did
that I
you?
boy no, well, sometimes, but I
You
used to
go,
do
boy,
just I
howdy,
would
how you
I,
doing?
most women that I waited on, I mean, because I was just that innuendo, flirtatious, fun,
Mm,
happy-go-lucky guy, that kind of thing, and I just get them worked up, and I had little special, fun little things that I would do, little tricks and magic. Kids, if you parents were the other ones. If they had
yeah.
kids, man, I had a couple of quick little sleight of hand magic tricks that would just get the kids going the whole time. I would
Oh,
tell
can you still do them?
yeah, yeah, the whole quarter
See.
behind the ear thing, yeah, yeah,
Oh, you can't
yeah.
do a quarter behind the ear thing.
Well, yeah, we
Um,
make it sleight of hand. You make it. They make the quarter disappear, and they're like, "Oh, where did it go?" And I'm like, "Look, it's behind your mom's ear." I was just doing that with my next
yeah.
door neighbor's kid the day before we left out, and I was doing a little rock, and I'd ask her, I was like, "What did you do with the rock?" She's like, "I don't know. I don't know where to rock. I don't know." It's just fun. The younger they are, the
That
better.
is fun, yeah.
But yeah, so it's all about how you work it. he's right about how people tip, but
Yeah.
if you're savvy and you're smart, you can work anybody, male
You
or
play to your
female,
you play to your
right?
audience. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, if it was a man and woman, man, I would pump him up, right?
Oh yeah.
I would
Yeah.
pump
Yeah.
him
You
up to where
have to.
he was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he was the shit at that,
You know he's getting
between
laid
those
to.
two,
Yeah.
right? And sure
Yeah. Yeah.
enough, man, they would a lot of times they would slip me that extra green. They were like, yeah, she's in a happy mood. I kept her
Mhm.
drink full. I talked him up, had fun,
Mhm.
and got her laughing. Dude, yeah. Men were men were just as easy to work as women,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah. Of
did it
course.
right. You just had to know the tricks. But that's the
Ooh.
that is the thing about the tipping industry is like you never get the right compensation for the work that you really do put into it to try and get those tips. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The good ones that are working those angles.
Right.
But
Yeah. Quest is ready to buy us a beer for a magic trick. Can you still do a magic trick?
oh yeah, it's the most simple one that you've ever seen in your life. I
And
mean,
he didn't say it had to be a good one.
and because to be
We're trying to
honest with
get
you,
them ducats, man.
it's just to fool kids, and it's shit. Now I have to have a coin. I don't have a coin on me because I left them all on the nightstand because I didn't want to have a bunch of that, you know, those little chippy things that people act like are worth something.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find something,
I mean,
comparable size.
here, I got a quarter right here. Here.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah.
do the trick. Show him the trick.
Uh, see it? See it? See it? See it? Oh, look, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Oh,
No,
oh,
see,
oh.
so it's like this. So like I'll just go up to I'll go to a kid and I'll be like, you just show him. You're like, here's a quarter and everything, and then you take your other hand and say, now I'm going to put it in this hand. And I got a casual hand that's just barely holding on to it, but it's an open hand on the other side, so they think it went right here in this hand, and then the
Right.
kid blows on it. Kid blows on it, and then boom, nothing there. And then
Oh, wow.
then I'm able to reach out and just grab it from behind their ear, and they're all good to go. But it's just a matter of, it's just that old sleight of hand where you're coming to grab, and you just drop it down into the hand, and they never.
Right.
You do it quick enough, they don't see it, and that's it. Kids love that trick, and it's one of the easiest ones. I would think it's one of the easiest ones. It's always been the easiest thing for me to do, and but people fuck it up all the time. Like
There you go, though.
instead of dropping
was-
the coin into their hand, they drop it on the goddamn ground. They're like, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, that could
It's like, I
happen.
don't get it.
But, yeah, so apparently it was good enough, though, because Quest Fanning has given us yet another $5
Sweet.
on
Let's hear it
Buy
from
Me
Quest.
Coffee, bringing us up to 1/4 of the way to our goal. We're 1/4 of the way there, 25%. So, hell yeah! Thank you very much, Quest. We appreciate all the support you've given us, man. That's awesome.
But
Everyone else, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
now, if any of you ever want to go into a tipped profession and you're not sure that you could do it, I used to train servers. I used to train them hard, and I wasn't training them on the processes in the store so much. That was just secondary shit. It was all
Right.
about look. The very first thing I always told them, I'm like, you're about to go on stage, and that's that. You better get your game face on, and you better become a whole new person. You better learn to act. Everything is funny. Everything is perfectly fine. It doesn't matter how pissed off somebody gets. You better be able to fucking defuse and de-escalate and inflate. That's it. Oh yeah, it was. I would push them hard. I fucking take people in back and like, why in the fuck aren't you talking to these people? Fucking open up. Quit being. No, you can't sit here and hide behind your little fucking apron in your order. Fucking open up. You better start talking because you ain't gonna make shit for money.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck what it is. You can lie to them, tell them all the bullshit you want, but you sell it, and they will pay for it. People pay
Oh
for an
yeah,
experience in those situations.
for sure.
And I was like, but now you're gonna get lucky sometimes, and there's gonna be somebody who's like, I don't want to even be fucking bothered, and that's when you're silent
Yeah.
and you just deliver promptly before they ever need it. If you can't learn to fucking do that shit. But man, I used to train people. They'd make good money, and they'd be like, yeah, 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 thanks. You're right. It makes the good money. And I'm like, hell yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
Robert should train cops.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
Right?
I like it.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of fun in the service industry, but I wouldn't go back into it. I don't want to be in any kind of front facing position with anybody anymore because people have become too annoying.
I'm not a fan.
I don't have the patience
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, not a fan.
Do you ever work in the service industry, John?
I worked at a gas station.
No,
I never
not
worked. I never worked.
like a tip
I was
to.
never a waiter. No, I was a well, okay. So I was a dishwasher, and so I got some of the front of house tips. Like they did the whole like put all the tips in a pool and divide it. So I got some of that, but I wasn't earning tips, right? I was just washing dishes. That was my first job I ever had.
Well,
So
I will say this. I would be willing to say that a service job like that, waiting tables, or anything where you make a gratuity, but primarily working in the service industry like that, should be a job that most kids do first, right? You gain from it. And one of
yeah,
the greatest things that you gain from doing that industry is a humbleness.
humility. Yeah.
It will give you a sense of humility that
Mhm.
is but your communication skills, your ability to deal with people fucking skyrockets through the roof, right? I'll
As long
talk
as
to
you
anybody.
stick with it.
My
Yeah.
wife, we're doing 3 real estate deals right now, right? We've been doing 3 of them. And she was very much right at the very beginning. She's like, you talk to everybody. Because she knows I'll get on the phone and I can just talk, and make these deals and work with people and, the whole 9 yards and make sure and, get somewhere. She doesn't want to deal with these people. I don't either, but I can. And so she's like, no, you're doing that shit. You're talking to these
Right.
people. She's like, but part of it is because she's like, I don't think you could go a day without talking.
I was gonna say, freezing. Okay, we're back. I'm back. No. Sorry to cut you off. I was just Quest Fanning was asking, what's the goal? Our goal was $100 in
Right.
total support.
And
So
John
once we
will
have
do
that,
John will do one of his
I'll be.
infamous drunk gaming streams
That's right. I'll be doing a drunk
with
gaming
everybody
stream,
who's
and
donated.
everybody who has donated will be allowed to be on. You don't have to, but you are definitely invited to be on, and we'll be given preference. So if someone else wants to come on who didn't support, but you get to come on first. So
I might even be there as sober relief.
that would probably be a good idea, especially if you could actually like. No, I don't think I'm not sure if you could run it. We'd have to work that out.
Why
Because,
wouldn't I
like,
be
they
able
wouldn't
to?
be able to see the game. They wouldn't be able to see
Oh,
the game without
well, sure. If you were sharing screen, though.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we'll have to work that out.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, you could be there for sure.
Quest says he's not enough of a multitasker to be a waiter. I can fix that. I can fix that. I'm just saying. I can. Uh,
Yeah, I'm
Alpha
like
Man
too
says,
much
I
by
just want
definition
to.
a multitasker.
Do what?
I have a hard time not multitasking. Like I have a
Right.
hard time just focusing on one thing.
Well, it's it is daunting for somebody to think about the fact, 4 tables, all
See,
getting
that's
loaded
easy
up
for
with
me.
people, but you each
Super
one
easy.
on a different time schedule, like with their food
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. You've got to have some good organization skills
yeah.
to multitask. Okay, I got to grab bread for this table. I got to grab another drink for this table. Food's coming out for this table. But the key to multitasking, just a secret, is utilizing the people around you, right? Delegate
Mm-hmm.
shit to people. and make them do it, right? It's like, it's like, just like, hey, Joe, I need you, do me a favor. Can you just get a basket of bread out to table so and so, right? Tell
Yeah,
them I'll be
yeah,
right there. Whatever, boom, 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 boom. And then, and make them like, oh, it's no big thing that you're just doing this real quick thing for me, right?
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Every once in a while, Joe will be like, I'm in the weeds, I'm in the weeds. And I'm like, well, fucking cut the weeds and get going.
Right.
Quit your bitching. Elfman says, I
Quit
just
your
want to
bitching.
say one thing about Corona. This is the longest something made in China has lasted.
That's
Something made in
hilarious. I
China
like that.
has lasted. Quest says, I can visualize the whole of a system or a process, but I can't keep too many balls in the air. The beauty of it is, what people really don't understand is that the balls actually keep themselves in the air, right? Because
Right.
things are being timed from all different directions in that, to where as long as you just slip yourself into the flow, there's a flow to it, right? And it's just about flows flowing together. It's, and I understand, what you're saying, Quest, but it's like, see, delegation, now you're talking my language, right? But yeah, it just really becomes a matter. I mean, it's not to say that even the best of us don't get really bogged down with too
Of
much,
course.
and usually it's because we've taken on too much, because of inefficiencies elsewhere. Like, you're in a 4-table section, but you wind up picking up a couple of other tables because somebody else can't handle their load, and you're like, yeah, I can do this, and then the timing, just like you're inserting two things into your perfect 4-table realm, right? So you got to juggle with that, and you can get yourselves kind of bogged down in that. But again, delegation is the key there, to where you utilize the people around you. Fuck, and if you got bus boys, yeah, fuck it, nothing to worry about. You've got slave labor there that's going to get tipped out by you at the end of the night.
Right.
And if you're one of the good people that really knows how to tip your bus boys, they will run when you say boom. It doesn't matter, right? It's all
Hmm.
about taking care of the people around you so that they will take care of you when you need to,
That is 100% true.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think that's a job that almost every new a kid coming out of high school, their first job, or while they're in high school, get a job in the service industry, making tips, because you really learn a lot about making money. Like, you decide, it helps you make decisions like, oh, I need to get a full time job making X amount of dollars per hour. That's what I need to do, so that it's consistent, and this, that, and the other, because these
Right.
rises and falls are crazy. It's crazy. But you learn a lot about yourself and what you're capable of handling. You should do it, John.
That's the
You're a
truth.
people person.
I'm a what? How
You're
dare you?
That always used to
Can't
gripe.
stand people.
That always used to gripe my ass when, like, they would like be interviewing employee, new servers and shit like that, and they're like, well, are they a people person? And I'm like, everybody's a fucking people person, because everybody's a fucking people.
No.
Every everybody has the innate social abilities. We are a social creature.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
how it's just each individual person. Like, when you're coming into that realm to do something
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
you just have to find, as a trainer, as a teacher, what it is that triggers that in them. What
Mm-hmm.
is it that triggers it and makes them able to be more open and open up? What's holding them
Right.
back, et cetera, et cetera. That's the key to being a good teacher, a trainer, is what is it that needs to happen for this individual to learn at their best capability and perform at that level as well. No matter what the job is, whether it's a service profession or whether it's a fucking engineering job, right? Everybody's got something that may prevent them from doing the best they can. You got to figure it out. That's teaching. That's
Yeah.
understanding people. That's wanting to get the best out of people, because when you get the best out of people, they become the best that they can be.
Right.
You know, and we don't do that anymore, right? And that's why I
No,
say
it's kind of like
fucking
pushing
bring
it through the
trade
system.
schools back. Bring
Yeah.
trade schools back for high schoolers. Get them out of fucking high school. That's not the realm they need to be in. That's not how they're going to learn well, and that's not where they're going to find a profession. There's some people that, are going to do better in trade schools. Let's get back to that. Fuck this high school diploma is necessary in the world. No. No, certification on how to fix a fucking air conditioner is a pretty goddamn hefty piece of paper compared to a high school diploma. Because that guarantees you a nice job. Right? So,
Yeah.
people need to bear that shit in mind. Quest says, I think a lot of folks who are looking for an excuse have become full-blown hermits this year, and some will never come back. And that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking at like the last half of this year. My house, getting my property, becoming self-sufficient is going to be my full-time job. That's just it's there's so much to do there, and shit. I gotta get a whole shit ton of ground ready and prepped and to go next spring, and just unleash an ungodly amount of food. I mean, that's I'm like, I got all these plans. It's just like, because I don't want to have to go to the grocery store for shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go buy something that I pay taxes on in sales tax.
Right.
I want to keep that bill to a very small amount.
Yeah. You gonna have animals too? Out there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have chickens, ducks. Gonna have a pig. Gonna have some goats.
Sure.
We're considering a milk cow. We're we're gonna
awesome.
rabbits. And then
probably
not a horse. Probably
no,
not a horse. There's not a donkey. We're gonna get a donkey, and we're gonna train her to be a Jenny. She's gonna pull carts, and she's gonna help. Maybe even pull a plow. I might even get an old standard plow to for when I'm wanting to get exercise instead of using the tractor.
All right, Robert. I can only get so erect. All right, calm down. All right, goddamn.
This is what my life is gonna become, John.
That sounds fucking awesome.
And it's weird that it's a full circle thing. Like, this is how I started off, and I spent so many years in the cities and, all of this, but when it's all said and done, man, just I need to be away from this, and I need to do it all myself, Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I feel, I'm excited for me.
There's actually a chance. So I brought up, how you invited me to come live there, on my own little part of the land. Girlfriend not all that excited about it. I think maybe if I bring her by one time to show her, I think she might change her tune.
Well,
and then you might get a farmhand.
I've said it before, and I will say it again. The best meal that you will ever sit down and have is one that has your blood, sweat, and tears
100%
in the ingredients. When everything is everything is picked from out of the ground or slaughtered from your own pens. I'm sorry, it's a horrible sounding word, but it is just a word.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's called. But
that's
you sit down and sit down and eat that food, I'm telling you, that goddamn food tastes better than any food you will buy in any store or restaurant. There's just no doubt about it. And the other thing is, I've considered trying to, potentially getting a lawyer and taking custody of my kids back, so that they can have the last couple of years before they become adults, toiling the land, working the land, learning how to be self-sufficient. Hey, you know what? I don't give a fuck. They need to learn.
Right.
They need to learn that it's possible for you to provide for yourself, and learn how to work the land and learn how to respect it and make something happen from it. Because I'm sorry, it's just like you teach a kid how to change the oil in a car and how to change a tire, so that they're capable of doing things self-sufficiently to a certain extent. Yeah. Same goddamn thing with this. Kids need to learn this kind of stuff, especially in this day and age when we could potentially be on the verge of any sort of collapse.
Right. That's for sure.
Quest says, Elephant says the rabbits are to feed the gators. No, the rabbits are to feed the owners.
Stew. Yes. Rabbit stew?
Because
Bruh.
them gators may have been feeding the owners too. I'm just saying. Because don't come on my property if you're an
Dude,
animal
you're
that wants
fucking
to
that
survive.
stall that you want to have on the side of the road, bruh. That's gonna
Oh
get you
yeah,
some money.
yeah. Come next
Killing them
summer.
gators, killing those fucking rabbits, skinning them,
Mm,
tanning them.
I
Oh my
I
god,
I'm
leather! All that
I'm
leather you can get.
I'm willing to say, and I even saw I
I
might
don't know
not.
if do you
I'm
know how to tan and
can't
create
do any of
leather?
that. I won't be able to
You
sell
don't know
stuff
how?
like that.
No?
You can't sell anything processed. So, for instance, I can sell you tomatoes,
Oh, okay.
but I can't
Right,
take
right, right.
those tomatoes
You
and
can't make
puree them
ketchup.
up and put them in and can them. I can't sell
Right.
them canned necessarily, right? I can't sell
That's lame.
cooked rabbit, but I can sell you baby rabbits,
Sure.
and
Okay.
I can sell you all the raw vegetables and fruits that we're growing and you want. And I've got
And
a
you don't. So
laundry
you're
list
saying
of
you don't.
things we're going to grow.
So you don't need like a permit or
Not to sell just the
a license.
unprocessed,
Well, how much would a permit cost? Oh, well, I mean that's obviously something
well,
we can
you're
talk
gonna
about another
you'd
time.
potentially have to get a designation and potentially
A zoning thing.
a commercial
Yeah.
designation, because we will consider that if my wife decides that she wants to build go ahead and do a full blown nursery. We are talking
Oh
about that,
yeah,
yeah, but yeah,
that's a
I
good
mean,
idea.
we're gonna make we should be able to make a livable income, a nice livable income just off what we produce on the land in raw
Hmm.
goods.
Yeah.
That's the plan. And hopefully within a year, that'll come to fruition, no pun intended.
Right.
Quest says his father in law regularly talks about how his dad is a dentist in farming country in Michigan, very frequently got paid in barter back in the 40s and 50s. And I'm telling you, it is a real thing. And that is some of the greatest ways to get things done. And, and you know what? You build better relationships in a barter system than you do in a buy sell situation,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Because people know who you are as a man.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
And I got no problem. I already have plans to get to know the neighbors so that we're
Of
trading
course.
shit, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna want a side of beef. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna want maybe this animal or that animal,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they're all, because I know one of our neighbors, they're all about animals, but they don't have a lot of crops or anything going like that. Well, they're gonna
Mm.
want some food. They
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll take three of those chickens, and here's what I'll trade you. Here's a bushel of this and that. Have fun, right? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, trade up, trade up, trade up. That's one of the greatest things ever. But you can't do that so much in the cities anymore, right? You just can't do it.
Yeah.
You gotta be self sufficient to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you this, Quest. The cost and unfortunately, the system is rigged against men in custody situations.
Yeah.
While I appreciate your good luck wishes, but yeah, it just, I was actually talking to somebody today, and I'll leave it on this note because I thought this was a very interesting point he made, because he was talking about all this equality and how men do get slighted when it comes to custody. Good night, Elephant Man. It's good to see you here tonight. Much love to you. Um, but he said this. He said, women want all this equality. He said, but here's the situation. A woman can get pregnant, and she has a window where she can just go and drop that baby off at a fire department or a police station, no questions asked, completely anonymous, and just give up that child.
Mm.
But in many instances, some places, they'll look for who the father is so they can collect some sort of support money from the father for the child that the woman abandoned.
Yeah.
Now, where is the equality in that?
As if it's actually about equality.
Right? It's like, God damn. So women can just, men are penalized for having children in a lot of
Yes,
cases,
100% they are.
whereas
Yeah.
women have the outs.
Yeah, women have a lot of outs, whereas men do not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very fucked up system, and I hate to say it, but the more than likely, if I were to go into a court situation, a petition on something like that, I'll probably just wind up walking out of there owing more money.
Yeah, exactly.
And how's that for a non-rigged system? Psst. But anyway, don't want to end on a horrible note. Maybe one of these days we'll explore that a little further because, I mean, it really does impact a lot of healthy
Oh yeah,
child relationships
absolutely.
when these kind of things go on in such a horrible way. I mean, it has with my kids. I mean, it's not a healthy situation. But outside of that, hey, there's probably more money coming from the government. Money printer go burr.
Yeah,
So hang on tight and watch for that. Uh, uh, Quest says it makes me think of the film Red Pill, right?
I have
I
not.
haven't
I've
seen it,
actually not seen that. I think I heard of
but
that. And,
right.
I think it was like a. I don't know if it's a documentary. I think I did hear about that though.
Yeah, it does sound
A few years
familiar,
ago. Yeah.
but no, I have to check it out. I'm assuming it was probably pretty good if Quest is mentioning it. I'm
Hmm.
sure he's got good taste. I mean, he watches our
He
show,
watches us.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to have good
Gotta have
taste.
great taste.
Hey, John, I need to get the hell out of here. So why don't you do me a
Yes.
favor and tell all these lovely people that have shown up tonight where they can find us?
Of course. Down in the description, we have all of our links to all of our stuff. We got our, like we mentioned earlier tonight, Buy Me a Coffee. We are now a quarter of our way to the goal of $100, for which I will be doing a drunk gaming stream. Not sure for how long. We'll have to work that out later. But anyone who has donated will be allowed to come on, and if they have the game that we're going to be playing, they can play it, or they can just hang out and talk to us. Whatever, it's going to be cool. It appears that Robert's going to be around for it now,
Possibly. I can do that.
possibly. So that's cool. So if you want that to happen, first link in the description is Buy Me a Coffee, and you can do that there. Uh, so then it's got two options. It's got one for a single donation and one for a monthly donation. Both will be counted towards the goal. The monthly donation, however, has perks that go along with it. So make sure you go and check those out, see which ones you like, and give accordingly. Then we've got our Twitter at the GenGapP, which is a lot of fun. I'm on there all the time, dishing out hot takes and dunking on status and whatnot. So make sure you check that out. We've also got a Discord server where we have tons of memes and cool people to hang out with, talk to, whether it be voice or chat. Also, you'll most of the time will get notifications when we're going to go live. So if YouTube decides not to send you the notification, you can get it there. And then we've also got Subscribestar, which has the same perks as over on Buy Me a Coffee. However, it does not go towards the goal of 100 for the stream. So if you just prefer Subscribestar, you can go there instead.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. Much love and thanks to everyone who showed up tonight, all the talk, and hope everybody hit that like button before they get out of here. We always like plenty of likes. We are going to we're going to clear our throat. We'll be looking to be back again on Monday night at 9:30 for a little bit of fill in the gap, some humor to get your week started off the proper way as much as possible. And then we'll come at you Wednesday night for another rousing episode of Shooting the Shit. That's at 9:30 p.m. as well. And, of course, we're back a week from tonight for a regular Friday night episode at 8:30 p.m. All of those times are the Eastern time zone, not to be confused with all the rest of you posers out there in your other wannabe time zones. We will get the hell out of here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Quest, for all your love and donations. And folks, have yourselves a good one. Remember, get yourself self-sufficient. It's the only way to fly. Peace out, everyone. John, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night.
Yep. See you guys.
The war will begin.